Our story begins with a view of a laboratory. Inside, someone is running and suddenly kicks the door open. The leader of the hunters, Mr. Hong Xiaokaoeng, enters, and one of the hunters says, "There are children here." The glass shatters, and we see Rose, a child staring intently at the hunter. He says, "Kids, are you okay? You can come out now." While Mr. Xiaokaoeng smiles, the others are organizing the children, picking them up to take them outside. "Are you hurt anywhere, kid?" he asks, picking the boy up while observing the situation in the background. The hunters and the police are arresting the scientists from the lab. This child doesn't seem normal because, as he stares at the doctor who did this to him, he thinks about how he can make him angry. "What's your name, kid?" the hunter asks. "My name is number 12. "Is that really your name?" Then he gently puts the child down and starts kicking the lab doctor, shouting, "You son of a bitch, bastard." He begins to pummel the guy with an overwhelming power that no one can ignore. Hunter Hong, "Inspector, what brings you here?" asks one of the hunters. "I knew you would do something like this again. Let him go now," the inspector responds. Then he throws the guy to the ground. "I appreciate your help, but it's hard with you helping in this manner. Are you his boss?" "No, but I scold him when he does something wrong." "That's not being a boss." The lab chief always scolded the other doctors. "He hated us. But you can be sure this man is going to get scolded. You don't seem very strong. Are you a hunter too?" "I'm not as strong as they are, but you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. There are many other ways to reprimand a person without resorting to violence, like this guy did. So, what do I have to do to become like you? You need to study hard, pass the national exam, and then work hard to become a corporate leader." And so, our protagonist decides the path of his life. 19 years later, on May 31st, 2044, at the Skills Management Agency, Dungeon 2 in Yeondongpo and Dungeon 1 in Inwang received threat level 2. We see someone leaning on a table, stretching, while the others aren't paying attention to the meeting. Our protagonist thinks, these idiots don't even try to improve. Listen up. Even though you're rank B and C, the interior is unstable, so the threat level might rise. Okay? Team 2 will be in charge of the rank B dungeon. Any objections? No. Team 1. You'll take the rank C dungeon. Teams 3 and 4. You'll rest because you recently went to the dungeon. Your equipment is ready. Check if anything is missing until entry time at 2 p.m. Any questions? No. Then have lunch and wait for your mission time. That's all for today. The group leaves, talking about being hungry, but one hunter remains in the meeting room. What happened? Hunter Yujia. About that dungeon I told you about. Bangi Dong. It's just a rank D6 dungeon. You know the agency only sends people when it reaches threat level 2, right? But I have a bad feeling about it. If you went to dungeons based on your feelings, the media would have destroyed us by now. We shouldn't abuse our power just because you're a rank as hunter. Abuse of power is what you're doing. Nipo baby. Nipo baby, for those who don't know, is when you enter a career where your parents are already successful. Have you ever seen a more capable and skilled Nipo baby than me? No, because I would have fired you long ago if you weren't good. If a hunter like you attacks a civilian like me, it will be terrible for you. But I'm serious. I have a bad feeling about that dungeon. Good for you, but I'm off duty now, so don't contact me. Ah, but you won't be able to contact me even if you're inside the dungeon. Ah, that's great. What did you say? You bastard. Let's call our protagonist Wu Hui now. 2 days later, in Busan. Look at this watch, the one that was in the news. This work of art was created by the Korean government and the Magic Research Laboratory. It's still in the testing phase, so there are only 2 in the world. Wow, you must be a very important hunter. I have a license, but I'm not a hunter. I work at the Skills Management Agency, which makes life easier for hunters. I'm directly affiliated with the agency director. You mean that person, the nation's best hunter, Xiaokawa. It's a bit embarrassing to say, but he's my father. Your father? My adoptive father. I was in an accident when I lost my parents, and this agency director saved me and adopted me. I worked hard to repay him, and now I work for him. Don't think I'm completely a Nipo baby. I worked hard for this position. Of course, your father is well known for being fair. That's a lie. Well, I'm not 100% a Nipo baby, but I did use the fact that I have a license to my advantage. But tell me, why did you come here today? Asked one of the people present. I took a day off to celebrate my promotion. I wasn't going to come, but they kicked me out of work because I never took a day off. It's not good to work all the time like that. For example, we're on a break too. Oh, really? Am I bothering you? No, of course not. You showed us something really cool. Can we see it again? He shows the watch he was talking about earlier. One of only 2 in the world. What's its name again? Exclusive miniature multimodal communication device for hunters. But we just call it a mana watch. Oh, it's not just a watch. Right, show us. It recognizes your mana patterns, so only the owner can use it. Hold on, let me show you. A hologram comes out of the watch, like a little screen. That's so cool. You can see the dungeon news. Hey, Hui, are you seeing this? There's a dungeon with a rising threat level. They see a D-ranked dungeon's threat level going from 1 to 2. A C-ranked dungeon is at level 2, and an O-ranked dungeon is at level 3. free. An urgent alert pops up for him. What? Dungeon destruction. Where? How? Someone calls on the protagonist's phone. Bad news. I saw. Bangi Dong. Right. I don't think anything will happen since it's a D-rank dungeon, but there's a high concentration of people in the area. It's not a D-rank dungeon. Half the district was destroyed as soon as it came out. Oh, I'm sorry. What? The director is heading there urgently with the available adventurers. Wait, calm down. I'm on my way. Send the helicopter. In the next scene, Hwee is already in the helicopter heading to the dungeon. Half a district destroyed. That's ridiculous, but I think everything will be fine. The director is heading there. I came here during my break. Wait, why is my mana watch shutting down? The pilot says, Sir, there are things below us. Aren't those monsters? Several monsters have been released from this dungeon and are roaming the district streets. Hwee starts receiving a bunch of alerts, emergency warnings, saying that all the dungeons in the country broke at the same time, releasing all the monsters. Breaking news announces that the dungeon break phenomenon isn't only happening in Korea, but worldwide. The current status of the hunters fighting these dungeons is still unconfirmed, as is the whereabouts of Seokgaewon. Anyway, I won't be able to return to Busan now. There are no flying monsters around here. Let's look for any survivors. Right, boss. Let's get the survivors and take them to the agency. We see Hwee fighting a monster. He's not a fighter, but he's handling it. He grabs a piece of wood and thrusts it into the monster's mouth. But the scene is complete chaos. The entire district is in ruins. Damn it, watch. Open up and tell me Seokgaewon's vital signs can't be found. Are you saying he's dead? The greatest and strongest hunter in Korea is dead? No, that's impossible. The future I wanted was very simple. Leave the boring and uncomfortable tasks to others and live a comfortable life. To achieve that, I battled and faced many difficulties along the way. I need someone to help me. That's why I need to find new survivors. I need to find someone. Then he hears a scream and turns around. Aunt, I told you not to call me Aunt. Does it matter now? Look at you. Do you know what happened? All I know is that the centipede that escaped the dungeon did all this. Hwee grabs a potion to rescue her. You know this is centipede venom, right? This potion won't work. I'm not sure, so I'll apply it and hope it works. You idiot. I told you this dungeon needed people. Why did you ignore my hunter instinct? Huh. You talk as if there aren't more reliable things than your hunter instinct, right? You're not wrong. Anyway, I can't fight anymore now. What do you mean by that? Take this. She hands him his father's ID. I brought this just by coincidence. Good thing I did. Look at this situation. Anyway, you're his son. You need to give him a proper funeral, at least. I'm not even his real son. How can you say that? You're his only son. You have to give him a proper funeral, at least. Well, I'm not giving you a funeral either, so don't die. You idiot. Why do you always have to say that? Please, don't die. You talk as if I can control that, right? I'm amazed I survived this long. Hey, Hwee, remember when we used to walk around together? You used to call me Big Sis. Why are you bringing this up now? You were so cute back then, but now that you've grown up, you've become so rude. You know, just shut up, Aunt. I'm sure I have more potions here. Please, just stop talking and rest. My sword is right here. I can call you Big Sis again. Please, just be quiet. I know you learned to use a spear because of your dad and all, but take my sword. It's a good sword. It will keep you alive. And she passed on. The protagonist closes her eyes. How am I supposed to survive here if neither you nor dad could? I hate this kind of thing. When he returns to the agency, it's completely destroyed, and there's the giant centipede. I should have realized that being a hunter means not even your body remains after you die. Are you telling me all these hunters exhausted themselves and died because of this centipede? The most powerful hunter really died, but all he left behind was his ID. What am I supposed to do now? Keep looking for survivors. And if I find one, what do I do? Where do I take them to start? Is there any survivor? It looks like he uses a skill on his sword. Damn it, damn it. He strikes the centipede with his skill, but suddenly it just disappears. What? Where's the centipede corpse that was right in front of me? All that's left is a small alarm clock. This was inside it. I've never heard of items inside monsters. Is this a watch? Authorization check for procedure implementation postponed. Initiating emergency procedure. What kind of item is this? Is it artificial intelligence? Would you like to change the date? What are you talking about? Rebooting. Initiating auto sequence. Would you like to execute now? A moment ago you asked if I wanted to change the date. Now you're asking if I want to execute something. Would you like to execute? And what do you want me to execute? Warning. Warning. What is it now? Another centipede. Oh no, definitely not. Detecting danger. The centipede before didn't have this size, nor this aura. Was this thing what destroyed Korea? He sees large claws emerging. Survival probability 0%. I don't care what this is. If you can execute that thing, do it now. Identity confirmed. Initiating emergency protocol. Qualification verified. Verification failed to execute. Salvation ineligible. Initiating forced execution. What do I do in this situation? Run? Is it even possible to run from this? Initiating final sequence. Approved. Qualification verified. Approved. The world is about to be destroyed. Last survivor. Shut up, you stupid robot, and get me out of here. Confirmed. Moving user to a random time. Sir, hey, sir, wake up. We see someone slapping him repeatedly. Then he grabs the hand of the person hitting him. Oh, he finally woke up. Sorry, boss. You weren't responding, so I had to resort to this. We'll take care of you, but don't move too quickly. I'll ask you, because you were very injured a while ago. Are you a hunter? You have a sword and all. What's happening? If the whole world was destroyed, where am I? And how did this woman get the old academy uniform? Sir, are you okay? Are you alright? Any concussion in your head? And why is there such an old computer here? Suddenly, he sees the calendar. What? 2024? He sees people arguing among themselves. Huh, Hyunwook, we don't have time to waste with you, sir. The protagonist stands up quickly. Of all the possible years, 2024, April 5th, 2024. He looks out the window and sees creatures outside. It's a horde of black buffaloes. The protagonist thinks, out of the 46 people in this building now, only 5 will come out alive. What is happening? Okay, I have some memories before losing consciousness. Bodies of people and monsters everywhere. Jiun and my dad dead. And a very suspicious item that appeared when the centipede disappeared. Did I really return to the past? I remember publishing a paper on a dungeon break during my undergrad, way before the magical measurement device was invented, back when they were measured manually. As long as it was in the middle of its cycle, it would be well mapped, but they're still completely unpredictable. One that seemed calm yesterday could explode today. The management guild didn't want to miss the opportunity of an S-rank dungeon, so they falsely reported it as a B rank, and the news of it breaking only came after the first wave of chaos. The students from academies and universities who wanted to become hunters tried to help the nearby civilians, but there's no way only students could handle a dungeon break. The only survivors were 2 hunters and 3 civilians. This was a huge setback for a new method developed to make hunters, but at least in the meantime, it formed several hunters. Okay, I have GN's sword, so if I can use it well, I can get out of this situation. How long has it been since the dungeon broke? Aren't you from the hunter school? You should know this. Actually, we were learning about this today. Then you'll learn better. When did the dungeon break? Approximately 4 hours ago. I don't want approximately. I want the exact number. We're dealing with dungeons. It was 3:50, sir. Contact someone outside. We lost communication 2 hours ago. The last news we received was that adventurers had gathered to defeat the dungeon boss. The protagonist thinks his father was in that team to defeat the boss and felt terrible for going to kill the boss instead of protecting the children who ended up dying. But this time, it won't happen again. No offense, but who are you? How can we trust someone we don't even know? Do you have a hunter's license? If so, please show it. I lost it. The protagonist thinks he has the license in his wallet, but how can he pull out a license dated 2031? The guy feels awkward because the protagonist said he lost the license. Oh, but now that I think about it, I don't have any form of ID. Even if I get out of this situation, I won't be able to enter the dungeon. I just need to prove I'm a hunter, right? He uses his ability on the floor of the room, creating a beautiful blue flame. Okay, I believe you. You're a hunter. Then someone starts talking about the guy appearing on the screen. Apparently, he's Diane's precious son. They ask, why hasn't Diane come to get him yet? Even the protagonist thinks about this. The youngest son of Diane, who owns one of the world's largest conglomerates. So, do you have a plan to survive? They pampered this Seunjon so much that after his death in the other timeline, they helped maintain the hunter school. They even created the skills management agency and promoted my father to director. So, what will happen if he gets out of here alive? If I have no identity and seem even a bit suspicious, I can become a hero that no one can criticize. Of course, I have a plan. Let's go to the city hall. And he thinks, with this plan, I'll be able to weaken Seunjon and create a scenario where I save him from danger. The city hall? Are you crazy? Do you know how far the city hall is from here? He's not happy with the old man and thinks, experiencing something I've only seen in records is really invigorating, isn't it? Some witnesses said they didn't hear the students just because they were younger and might have died because of this ignorance. Do you want to die or something? Are you provoking me? Hunter, shut up. Sir, to be honest, even saving myself won't be easy in this situation, but I can't leave all these children behind. So, let's go. Students, are you with me? But if you want to leave on your own, I won't stop you. We can't leave people behind. And you, are you hearing this? I'm doing my best to save even people like you, old man. So, if you don't want to stay, you can leave. Oh, no, that's not it. I need a map. Does anyone know this area well? I draw relatively well. With the map already drawn, he grabs a pen and starts making the plan. We are here at this point, and here is where the dungeon is. Since the people started going after the dungeon boss, the big minotaur probably went towards the mountains. A minotaur? Isn't that an S-rank monster? And it's this close to us? The buffaloes probably followed their boss to the mountain, so there should only be a few monsters that got separated on the way. And do you know what this means? Isn't this the other part of the blockade? right? They said they were going to create a defense line to contain the monsters and prevent them from going anywhere. Yes, that's correct. And the city hall is a few blocks from here. We just need to get there to enter this defense line and survive. Then why don't we just sit here and wait? If the boss is defeated, the dungeon break will end, won't it? The Minotaur is a dictator. If he commands his buffaloes to gather, they will gather. If he commands them to hunt, they will hunt. And it's the same for eating. And if the boss disappears, what do you think they'll do? Turn around and go back to the dungeon. Does anyone disagree with my plan? Everyone stays silent after that. Okay, great. Is there any mage here who knows how to draw runes? In the next scene, they are already drawing runes on the other students' foreheads. Monsters are sensitive to mana, so they will come after you. So draw these runes very well. Ah, these runes really hide our mana. I've never heard of this. The protagonist thinks, considering the current time we're in, this is really impressive. But after the runes were better developed, this became very common. This rune, when it's on your head, hides your mana that's connected to you, but it doesn't hide any magic that's being cast. Do you know how to activate the rune? Yes, you fill your hand with mana and touch the rune. When I lift my finger, it activates immediately. He thinks, I'll put less mana in Seunjoon's rune, all to stage him saving the kid. My goodness, I'm so manipulative. Now, I'll go out, attract the monsters, and keep them running around the neighborhood. When I pass by here the second time, you all run. Then I'll lead them away and catch up with you later. Okay, time to go. And he jumps into the middle of the Minotaurs with his sword. For this occasion, I really needed a red cape like a matador, right? As the students and staff leave the school to wait for him to pass by again so they can run. The girl with the rune says, who is this guy, huh? And why is he so worried about us now? Besides, he knows about the dungeon boss. Could he be one of the hunters assigned to kill it? Maybe, but it's strange. He knows a lot of specific information. Maybe he tripped while climbing the mountain. Who knows? And you think he'd be weak like that, tripping and passing out? Man, it's a Minotaur. Anyway, we can only trust him now. He single-handedly managed to drive that whole herd of Minotaurs away from here. Is that right? Ah, have you all finished your preparations? Yes, soon we'll run with everything we've got. Be careful, everyone, and run for your lives. We need to stay alive over there, everyone. Right there. He's coming with a herd, and we see several Minotaurs chasing him. But since his mana is hidden, he managed to infiltrate the middle of the Minotaurs. Then, he uses his abilities to confuse the Minotaurs and gives the signal for the students to run. That's our cue. Let's go. Martial arts hunters usually lead. Mages use shields, and civilians' job is to run for their lives. While Seunjoon is a bit distracted, walking with the other students, a Minotaur approaches him and starts sniffing him. And, of course, as our protagonist Hui planned, he appears just in time to save Shinji. Wow, what a coincidence. Huh. Ah, sir, run. Get out of here now. Ah, sir, I told you to run. Now the Minotaurs notice our protagonist Hui. Luckily, he manages to elude them by climbing a building. Where are all these Minotaurs coming from? It's really annoying to get out of here. Well, I did gather them, but still, up until now, everything that happened, I spread my mana on the ground to gather them on purpose. Then, I took some of the mana from Seunjoon's rune so he'd be in danger, and just before he was attacked, I managed to save him. I staged a sacrifice scene to create a new hero, and in the end, I saved all the students. It's perfect. So, now that my plan is complete, what do I do next? If I traveled 10 years into the past, is the Hui from 10 years ago here too? I just remembered a movie with this premise, but I hope I don't follow its plot. You can see he clearly remembers Back to the Future, and that suspicious item also told me something about this, that this world here is destined to go down the drain. It's probably related to the Bangi Dong dungeon. Oh, right, the Bangi Dong dungeon. And what about my watch? Does it work? I think so, since it's powered by mana. Then he starts typing something and gets confused with the results of his search. I was wondering why I was brought to this exact day. Well, there's the answer. And the watch shows that it was on this exact day that the Bangi Dong dungeon appeared. So you're telling me I have to change the fate of this world? Right. Damn. Why did these cows suddenly start chasing us? Did they alert the others that we were here? Damn bullheads. They must be Namsen hunters. Well, there's no reason to intervene in this. The original boss will be defeated by this team anyway. And anyway, the director is there too. It seems they attack their own allies without even recognizing them. Well, it's great for us. The smaller ones are dying because of. So, focus on the boss. And we see that while he's talking and leading his group. He's dodging an attack from a Minotaur. The legendary adventurers of my time, all gathered here. This looks more like a mob. Okay, here we go. And someone uses plant magic to create several roots to entangle the Minotaurs. Look, it seems to be Keeman, her unique ability. This skill was completely lost after she died. She was the only one. It's an honor to see her with my own eyes. Thinking about it, when did she die? If I can save a historical figure like her, it would be a great help in the final battle. Let's think for a bit. The difficulty level of the Bangi Dong dungeon hasn't changed in 20 years. hunters. Considering the monster inside, not even 2S rank hunters could handle it. Maybe that's why the future can be changed if I save figures like them, just like the model students I just saved. First, I need to close the Bangi Dong dungeon. Then, I need to find where that being who set everything on fire is hiding. It's not a bad plan, you know? If I rescue them and take credit for it, I might get a lifetime pension. Meanwhile, the team is fighting as Kimin traps the minotaurs with roots. Director Hong Seok-yeong is there slicing off limbs with his spear, eliminating vines. The minotaur is completely covered by these vines and roots, and as they tighten, blood oozes out. But it wasn't effective enough to take him down. He gets even angrier. Then he grabs his hammer again and tries to hit them. It's time to head to the city hall. Mr. Hong cut his other leg. Understood. As she conjures the spell to trap the creature again, another team member positions behind and pulls the vines tight, immobilizing the minotaur. And then Hong pierces the creature with his spear, causing it to fall. Damn it. And the creature falls right towards our protagonist. Hwee. Damn it. Then Hong notices something. What? A person? Is that a civilian? No, I don't think so. He's armed. So, our protagonist, Hwee, finishes off the creature using his blue flames. Everyone is shocked by his power, and the minotaur is completely scorched. Good job, everyone. You seem busy, so don't mind me, okay? Who is this guy? Oh, are you talking to me? I'm just passing through, he said, holding a flaming sword. In the next scene, our protagonist is being interrogated. Obviously, they wouldn't just let him go after finishing off the monster, right? It drew some attention. Thank goodness. Sir, are you sure you want to interrogate him yourself? We confiscated his weapon, but this man has no social security number, no phone number, and we couldn't get his fingerprints. Oh, it's fine. I just have a few questions for him. All right, then be careful, Hunter Hong. They stare at each other in silence for a moment. I turned off the camera in this room on the way here, so we can talk freely. Let's start by introducing ourselves, shall we? My name is Hong Seok-yeong. Seeing the agency director so young like this now, I'm sure I've gone back in time. So, in this timeline, will he find me in a year and adopt me in 10 years? My name is Hwee. Okay, Hwee, do you know what this is? He shows a partially torn paper. Hwee thinks, that's the drawing that covers the wall of the lab where I was. And, naturally, he shows a surprised expression, and Hong notices this and says, huh, just as I suspected. Oops, don't be so nervous. As I said, we're just talking. We were very worried about you. Oh, sorry. Do you know me? If everything goes according to plan, we should have met under slightly better circumstances. Anyway, you arrived safely, just as I heard. The blue mana, the fire. I don't understand what you're talking about. I'm the professor that Kim mentioned. He's confusing me with the guy who reported the lab. I got worried because we lost contact right after what happened with Kim. It seems his informant also died in all this, and we agreed to help with the escape. I'll do everything I can to catch those guys, and I've also prepared your identification here. They were so worried about the situation unfolding in Yeondeungpo that they didn't pay attention to the new hunter who suddenly appeared. I only know your name is Hwee, so I'll give you a temporary last name. Ah, that's good. Him thinking I'm an informant makes sense, because that way I don't have to keep making excuses for why I don't have any documents. But I can't be in a hurry. I know the director still doesn't trust me. Can I keep calling you just Hwee then? Yes, of course you can, he thinks. But I am also from the lab and an informant, so this story works perfectly for me. You'll be working for me for a while, under surveillance. I don't trust you enough to let you roam free. That's fine. I'm looking forward to working with you. He extends his hand to shake. In the end, I ended up working for the director again, just like in the other timeline. In this reality, he's not a director or my father, but we're still together in this. And he shakes Hong's hand. In the next scene, it's already a week later. Hey, how's it been for you? Is everything okay? How can I be okay when I've been stuck in this place for a week? But it's visitation day. Isn't that good? Well, I'm being treated like a prisoner. I even have an ankle monitor. You shouldn't be so negative. Look on the bright side. You managed to escape the police, and now you're free. And you said you have a lot to do, right? No, sir. The one with a lot to do is you, sir. Ah, call me uncle or something. Remember the 5 children you saved in Inwang? They were my students. The protagonist thinks. I'm sure he already knew this information for a long time. So, does that mean I passed his test? I heard that you led the minotaurs away, and that the students only managed to escape because of you. If it had been otherwise, well, the damage would have been irreversible. I don't know where so many cows came from, but what matters in the end is the result. The children are safe, thanks to you. The protagonist feels proud. Ah, I didn't do anything. So, I thought of this. I know the skill level of my students is the best. It would have been difficult even if you had only rescued them. But you saved the civilians too. Everyone in that building would be dead if it weren't for you. All my students were begging me to find you. So, I felt the need to, well, repay you for what you did. So, I decided to give you this. The protagonist thinks, why is he thinking so much? Just give it to me. And he puts a paper on the table. If you follow me through the dungeons, you'll be very visible, very exposed. first. But if you work as a teacher, well, that will help conceal you. So, you want me to teach your children? The protagonist starts reflecting on everything he's hearing, just looking at how the director acted with his agency in the other timeline. It already shows how strong the bonds are between master and disciple. There are many students in the academies who regard Hong as their teacher, as their master, and the people who later joined Hong's agency did so because they had a bond with him. If I create a good relationship with these students, they can secure my future after I save the world. But it would be very stupid in this conversation to reveal my plans for the future. In short, the protagonist's goal is to retire. That's it. The whole story revolves around the protagonist wanting to retire rich. But how do you want me to train those children? I can't even use mana because of this ankle monitor. If it's just teaching them how to fight, you'd be the best candidate, sir. I mean, uncle, you'd be the best candidate, uncle. For me, it's easy to teach how to fight. The problem is with magic. So, remembering those mana hiding runes, was it you who made them? The protagonist is left speechless, thinking, this is why I should have kept quiet. So, you want me to teach them about runes? Actually, it doesn't matter much if you made the runes or not. You just need to know more about runes than I do. I thought I was going to teach the students about dungeons or something like that, but I guess it would be a bit suspicious for someone who just came out of an isolated illegal organization to know about that. But first of all, runes are not magic, but they will be very useful for the children. But I'm not suitable for teaching. No, you're not good. You're perfect for the job. I'm sure of it. The protagonist thinks, should I say that I created and patented the runes? Even if I don't patent them, I can save countless lives by sharing my knowledge. I can't personally save every hunter, but if the public knows about the runes, well, anyway, you're the one who's going to teach them, okay? But I'm doing this for the kids, alright? Yes, of course. I know. I was just finalizing the copies of your documents and bank account. I'll send them to you shortly. It's called a school, but it's managed with my own money, so you'll practically be a member of my guild. Since you won't be participating in any dungeon raids, there's not much else you can do. So, basically, it will be a minimum wage. The protagonist is completely shocked by what he just read in the contract. And you'll only receive 90% of your salary for the first 3 months. Alright? It will be a probationary period. Plus, there are no holidays, since there are only 5 people working at most during the holidays. But sometimes, during the holidays, the kids might call us to train and we have to go. The protagonist, holding the contract, is very irritated. This guy just scammed me. He tricked me live right here. 2 days later, this sword of yours is really good, honestly. And it also recognizes its owner. It sent several people to the hospital. It's yours, right? It belongs to someone I know. Did you steal it? No, I'd be burned along with it. That's true. He thinks, this sword really hates me, but I think it knows it was given to me before Yu Jiun died. You're not mad because I didn't give it back to you, are you? Even if you gave it back to me, I wouldn't be able to use it at 100%. That's because I still have the mana restriction device. So, are you mad? No, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Our school doesn't allow blades, so I can't use it either. It's not like your class needs a sword anyway, right? You know you can just say you don't want a suspicious guy with a sword near your student, right? My god, why are you so stubborn? The protagonist thinks. He didn't deny it, but when he looks out the car window, he sees something that leaves him startled. Are we going that way? The protagonist thinks. I thought the area around the school would be urban, not rural. Where is he taking me? Relax, because the area is restricted to construction, as there are some dungeons nearby. Oh, okay. That makes it perfect for training our students. We're here. Is this really a school? A bit shabby. Huh. Yeah, I know. The protagonist thinks. Shabby. There's nothing here. The buildings will start being constructed next year. This is temporary. I have to teach them for a year. The journey has to start somewhere. Mr. H. Wei, welcome to the Hunter Academy. Attention, everyone. This is Mr. H. Wei, and he's going to teach you about runes. I know you already know him, but be respectful. Okay, teacher, over here. Here. The guy in front raises his hand slightly, and the teacher responds, but didn't this guy use a sword instead of magic? You don't need to know magic to use runes. Are we going to learn mana hiding runes or new ones? The new ones will be a big help to you, so you better not sleep during the lessons, okay? Sounds pretty cool, but can he really teach us that? Why are you questioning? Do you want to learn or not? I do. Runes are really cool. Here, teacher. Here, professor. Can only mages participate? No, but there are only 2 students here who can draw the runes. However, our school is quite flexible, so you can join the class without any problems. Then, one of the students finally speaks up. Hey, professor, aren't you the guy from the incident? Why did you leave us behind? We were really worried. Yeah, we were really concerned about you. I asked the teacher, but he didn't tell us anything. We thought something bad had happened to you. Are you sure you're okay, sir? Hui feels warmth in his heart. It seems they were genuinely worried about me. They are so different from the hunters we will have in 20 years. There was an adventurer who got stabbed inside a dungeon and died 20 years from now, and I'm starting to think it might be one of these guys here. He sees something that shocks him. What's happening with the rune? Was it like this the last time I saw it? It's only been 10 days since the incident. Has she suddenly become the witch I always knew? Flashback to April 5th, 2024. Seoyeon, take a look at this rune I drew. It might need to be a little longer. Oh, yes, sure. You're so demanding, but it seems so easy for you. My grandfather taught me to do it since I was young, so we can take turns with people. How about that? Aren't you tired? You've already done a lot. Relax. I have more experience with magic. Don't pressure yourself too much because we'll need your shield later. Remember. But she remembers that the rune on Sunjoon didn't work properly. This was the protagonist's fault. But people started talking badly about her, saying her rune didn't work specifically on Sunjoon. And the phrase, arrogance ruins everything kept echoing in her mind. She became more nervous and anxious each passing day. Flash forward a bit to the other timeline. At the Skills Management Agency, we see Park Seoyeon, who is as well as ever, which is strange and even repels people around her. Ah, Seoyeon, what are you doing? Hyunwoo, hi, are you waiting for me? No, please get out of the way. I didn't call you two just to chat. And who are you? Nice to meet you. By the way, I'm Hwee. Pleasure. The principal advisor for dungeon management and dungeon raids. Where are you from? My job is to support the agency director and assess the safety of all existing dungeons in Korea, as well as support hunters when raiding these dungeons. What on earth are you talking about? Oh, I work at the director's agency. Back to the present. For now, you'll stay here at the inn and don't complain, because I live here too. I'm just happy not to be inside a container. Have a good night. Then, when I was a kid, I used to wonder why I had to learn this kind of thing. He unlocks the ankle monitor, but the director is always right, isn't he? You need to know about technology. He starts using his mana watch now that his mana is free again. What should I look up first? He searches first for Park Seoyeon. No, I know all these results. I want to know what changed in her personality. What is this? My god, even the format of this is a mess. What do they use to hydrate during their lessons? Blood and tears? He's talking about some things related to Park Seoyeon. Number 1, don't praise her magic. She doesn't like it. That's why she smiled every time I clapped for her. Number 2, if she's not smiling, you're in danger. Number 2.1, in case of emergency, call for Yoo Jian or Hyunwoo. Number 3, never ever mention Myeongdong. For context, Myeongdong is where the accident happened, but in the other timeline, everyone died. So it was an incident that changed her personality. I saw that back then. There were no intact bodies, so it makes sense. But this time I saved everyone, didn't I? Why is she like this? My god. Okay, never mind that. But then he sees something written by the director, dated 2025. Scene, the next day. There's our protagonist in the middle of the brush with a lake. Why did this guy bring me here so early in the morning? Oh, hello? There's nothing to do here. Well, I want my future to be like this. Mr. Hwee, I can't believe we're going to build another building here. Should I give up? I only have 20 years ahead of me. I think I can survive with the knowledge I have. Mr. Hwee, in the end, I just need to survive, right? Mr. Hwee, what are you reflecting on so much, sir? Sunjoon, you scared me. Yes, that's me. Do you remember me? Of course I remember you. Mr. Hwee, where's your sword? My aunt got a bit curious after hearing about you, because she uses a sword too. Not to brag, but she's a pretty famous hunter. So the person he must be talking about is the youngest daughter of the president of the Daein group and the master of the Daein guild. Her name is Lee Miseon, a hunter known for being very strong and having very powerful abilities. Considering how much she likes Sunjoon, my future seems secure. And she said she wants to meet you, sir. Mr. Hwee, come over here for a moment. Damn it. He ruined my perfect chance. This guy is no help at all. I'm coming. What's up? Well, I'm setting up your class. My class? In this little room here? Yeah, we were using it as storage. Don't worry, we'll clean it. The protagonist thinks that means you'll never clean it. You need to do something about Park Seoyeon. What exactly? She seems very different since the last time I saw her in Myeongdong. That's true. She suddenly changed a lot. Every hunter faces a barrier from time to time. Seoyeon has already awakened a while ago, so it was about time. What's up? Are you worried about the students now? He looks a bit embarrassed. This guy has no hope of changing. He is very confident, physically and mentally. He can't understand that. For other people, problems aren't faced the same way he faces them. The fact that you can't get back up after a problem is incomprehensible to him. Modern strategies for raiding dungeons changed after the re-evaluation of runes. Runes were neglected for a long time due to some fatal incidents. But after a French archmage developed the mana hiding rune, everything changed. Ignoring the imperfections of runes, all mages learned runes, and by the mid-2040s, all hunters were required to know how to draw runes. But at this point where we are today, runes are exclusive to mages. So, as I was saying, we need to create a way for mana to. Hey, come on, why did you stop talking? Man, you never shut up. Director. And if runes are only for mages, why is this class so full anyway? Are you practicing runes? Today we will evaluate your level. Choi, did you miss that part of the class again? Yeah, the runes don't activate if there's a problem, even with the margin of error. Ah, they will activate. Choi, ah, yes, I'm sure they will. Do you at least know why runes weren't used in the past? That's because magic is more convenient than runes. That answer doesn't make sense. The protagonist thinks. It hasn't even been a year since he awakened. That must have been a pretty difficult question for him. When we go back to Park Seoyeon, she is breaking a pencil with her teeth. Ah, Seoyeon, why doesn't anyone find this weird? Do people think this is normal? Yes, Professor. Can you answer this question? Why weren't runes used much in the past? That's not stylish at all. She's completely lost it. Because runes are erased very easily. Exactly. Especially inside dungeons where the mana in the air is all distorted. So, how do we compensate for that? As you know, I'm not a mage, so don't bother asking me the principles behind all this that I'm about to explain. Just memorize what I'm going to tell you. Durability, correction, water resistance, amplification, and resonance. He draws a beautiful symbol, a very pretty rune, on the board. Professor, how do you want us to memorize this? This combination of factors makes the runes much more resistant to being easily erased. If the first rune is poorly drawn, it won't activate. So, be precise. Professor, why didn't you teach us this back in Myeongdong? I ended up drawing the first rune a bit wrong, so it didn't activate. I mean, even if I had known this, it wouldn't have made much sense. The protagonist finally realizes, is it because of the weakened rune I made that she ended up like this? Being a hunter means battling yourself. Whether you win or lose a battle is entirely your own problem. But even with these terrible working conditions and the incident in Myeongdong, Seoyeon managed to become an archmage. So, technically, it's not my fault. And I did it again. It must be right this time. Right. Professor, did I do it wrong? I messed up again. I can't mess up. I can't mess up. I can't mess up. I need to focus. I can't have to do it again. He claps his hands to wake everyone up. Lunchtime. Let's eat. Then we'll come back. I know it's not my fault, but as an adult and as a teacher, it's my responsibility. The professor eats too, so he brings out that blessed little lunchbox. I knew I shouldn't have followed this old man, and now here I am, eating a convenience store meal inside a container. You know a lot about rune, right? Did you learn on your own? We need to talk about this while eating. Someone I know taught me. Ah, right. You said you're not a mage, didn't you? Even so, you know a lot about runes. It's quite impressive. And our silver thinks Amisha saw it. I thought he had dropped the suspicions, but here he is again. It seems like he doesn't know much about the internal workers of the research center. Should I give him some context? Then he pulls that charming face of his. Don't you think it would be a shame for this knowledge to disappear? Thinking that something I learned by chance would be used for such an important cause. Oh, it seems I brought up a useless topic. Forget what I said. And about the 12 students who are mages, what are you doing with them? The mage students? Oh, I bring any kind of magic book for them. Seoyeon has the magic she learned from her grandfather. But Jinwoo is the big problem. It seems he really has talent, but it's very difficult without a master for him. Do you happen to know anyone? I already told you, old man, I'm not a mage. Well, I just wanted to be sure. But even though I'm not a mage, I'll teach them all the runes I know. Huh? Are you serious? Of course. Why would I not be? Is it something to be surprised about? But anyway, when the time comes, you'll have to disclose these runes. Are you serious? Can I really? These runes weren't made in art. Yes, they were, but you just need to publish them under your name. Oh, that's your only condition. What did you think I was going to ask for? Gold and riches. You only asked me to teach them. Yeah, but I thought it would be just 1 or 2 runes. To be honest, how valuable is this mana hiding rune alone, huh? Well, at first I thought about just teaching a few useful runes and then finishing the job. But seeing how these kids behave, it's clear they will die soon without any preparation. And Wu Hwee thinks that in the past life, most of them really did die. So they are practically half dead already. And this mage who taught you the runes, did he say you could teach them to others? He's someone who would be happy to save even a single life. The French mage who created the mana hiding rune and its uses, while the other people in his field only wanted rivers of money. He really just wanted to save as many people as possible by publishing his runes for free. And besides, I don't think he would mind if I take the credit for it. After all, in this reality, he hasn't even invented them yet, right? Oh, actually, I have another condition. I know of a place with many children, and he thinks it's already 2024 and his father needs to be there in the lab where he was rescued. The younger past Wu Hwee will be saved by the older future Wu Hwee. The next scene is already the following day, and it seems the master and students are in some kind of intense combat training. That last attack was good, but you lost a bit of your balance at the end. You need to maintain balance until the end. Next, and the master already throws the student who was there. Ah, damn it. And it looks like he and another student are trying to take on the professor, but he's handling them just fine. More than fine, actually. actually. He's even beating up the one behind him too. And everyone is using wooden sticks. Imagine if they weren't. Such cute kids. Come on, try again. While one is too angry to try again, the other has given up on life, doesn't even want to continue. And our silver thinks, these brutes have no sense of elegance. For example, look at my mage students. They're having class outside, and they're so graceful. Ah, damn it, I messed up again. Park Seo-yeon, they're at that age. Huh? Woo Hwee. You're behind on the task I assigned you. Let me take a look. Oh no. I'll show you later when I'm drawing better. And our silver thinks to himself, I thought she had lost her confidence because of her mistakes. So, I thought some positive reinforcement might help. But she doesn't even want to show me her work. But my job is to help you get better. Later what? I'm trying to say you can't develop bad habits. If you're doing it wrong, I have to correct it. Then he thinks, damn, I need to encourage. Oh crap, how can I encourage them? How did I do this before? There were some adventurers with brilliant ideas like yours too. And do you know what we had to do? Recover the bodies. Is this the best you can do? Wow, we have a genius here. Come on, everyone, let's give him a round of applause. He remembers the time he worked at the agency. That's what I used to do. It wasn't really encouraging. So, I guess it won't be helpful here. Good, quick, I like it that way. See, you can do it. Woo Hwee, you're the top rank in the whole school. I never thought anyone would leave this place in that way. I don't need to worry about sending Woo Hwee to a public school. Wait, son, why do you have that expression? You did very well. Oh, you wanted first place? It's okay. I don't care if you're last. Oh, right. It matters a bit in high school, doesn't it? This will work out the way you want, and I'll let you do anything you want, no matter what. Okay, sir? Okay, do as you wish. All right, you can show me when you're ready, okay? From what I see, you have enough talent to become an archmage, or even more. Most archmages your age didn't have much patience and were quite stubborn, but neither of the mages says anything. Well, Aor Rum says nothing, and the other one just watches the situation. What just happened to the atmosphere here? I'm sorry. Oh no, I'll let you take a look. No, I'm saying you can do it your way. I'm sorry, it's all right. Take your time. I was wrong. And inside, our silver is desperate. My God, what did I say wrong? Okay, let's stop here for today. Everyone get up, clean yourselves, and let's go home. Ah, thank you for today, Professor. Yes, of course. What happened to her? I'm sure I didn't touch her for her to start crying like that. I just can't understand what I did wrong. But you, tomorrow. Professor, have a good trip. Do the students live near here? Oh no, we have a place nearby that we use as a dormitory. The parents of these kids send them to these schools just like that. As the sun sets, they drive back, entering another conversation. The cases of child abductions have increased a lot recently. Yeah, that's really sad to hear. Usually, the targets are children who have awakened abilities, but they don't even ask for ransom. The witnesses don't even care. Sometimes, they just kidnap the kids in the middle of a crowded place in broad daylight. The place you mentioned earlier, with lots of children, was the ARC Research Center, wasn't it? You're not thinking that all the children from ARC are kidnapped, right? What do you mean? There are several orphanages near where ARC operates. I can count them on my fingers, so I'm absolutely sure something very dark is happening in them. My condition is that you save all the children, but I also want you to let me join the operation. You realize I've made several concessions, don't you? Relax, man. You're just going to grab the kids and run. You don't want to take a peek at the famous ARC Research Center. The search team has enough people already, but not everyone can break the security of that place. And Woo Hwee thinks, what kind of person would risk their own life to save a child? And he says, I have someone I need to find there, and I really hope that child is safe. While he's giving himself an Oscar for his performance, he thinks, well, I'm not lying, okay, but you better know exactly how to instruct everyone to do this. But I still need some time. I need to gather a team that will be very useful for this mission. Can we trust them? Why did you recruit me? Because I don't mess around when it comes to kids. In the next scene, it's already morning, and we see a clear and beautiful sky. The sky is very clear today. Park Seo-yeon is as gloomy as ever, and it seems that Choi Jin-woo is still figuring out how he will fit into this group. In short, he's the most lost about what to do. Professor, I'm always grateful to you. Seunjun, what? Professor, hello. Professor, this here, Professor, is Seunjun. Ah, hello. You're not having any classes now. Professor, you guys are weird. Look at them. They didn't stop to make a good lunch. They cut their own breaks. Yeah, it must be because they're mages. I couldn't sit in the same place for that long. Oh, you're a swordsman? Yes, I am. But where's your sword? Professor, the principal said it was better not to carry it around. Oh, I wanted to see it up close. Now that I think about it, if there's a younger Woo Hwee around, that might also mean there's a second J1 sword. If two swords like that coexist, I know it's not my main weapon, but it's pretty tempting. fight. And it's strange, right? Because we've only seen him fight with a sword so far. But apparently his main weapon is a spear, because he learned it from his father. Suddenly, a fancy car pulls up in front of the school, and a woman in high heels steps out. Look at that. You made it. Oh, you never told me these streets were so bumpy. If you had, I would have brought a different car. And our Silver thinks, why is Kim Keeman here? Not to be rude, but this never happened before, and it's impossible now. We see her profile. Her name is Kim Keeman, and she is an S-rank hunter. She is an archmage druid. Her teacher was her father. She doesn't teach anyone. Her spell is growth, the plant growth we saw earlier in the story. And it says that she died on July 9th, 2027. She died while fighting a mermaid. Oh, I appreciate your offer, but I think the only thing I could teach is the use of magic. And my type of magic requires a very high compatibility. I don't think your students have that aptitude. And how are you so sure? Well, at my level, I can understand these things. That girl over there, she's Park Najong's granddaughter, right? She probably already knows all the basic magic. Park Seoyeon, she still lacks experience. Oh, is that why you called me? You said it had something to do with art. Well, it does a bit, and he points to our protagonist. It's the person who was on the roof on the day of the Minotaurs. Yes, that's right. Nice to meet you. My name is Wu Hwee, and currently, I am the mage teacher for the students. Wait a minute, you're a mage, but I'm sure you used a sword back in Myeongdong. Oh, he's not a mage, but he knows something much better. Oh, you're talking about unique magic. Currently, I teach runes to the students, and Wu Hwee thinks. To think I would have the opportunity to meet Keeman, I'm even a little grateful. Runes? Oh yes, I understand. You and Hong aren't mages, so you probably don't know very well. You're one of those people who think runes are trash, right? And Wu Hwee says this with a little smile on his face. No, don't go that far. I think it will be more useful if you see it with your own eyes. My good ones, bring the rune drawings out here. Choi, you need to make this part of the rune a little longer. Don't make it a habit, okay? Okay? Yes, sir. And as for you, Park Seoya, good job. You've reached a much higher level, but as I said earlier, be more confident when drawing your lines. Yes, professor. Meanwhile, Kim Keeman is reading the paper with a very confused look. This complicated thing here is a rune, but it's not in its final version yet. Would you like to try one of them? Okay, sure, let's do this. And when Choi uses one of the runes on his paper, a large whirlwind of flames is formed. What? A rune that made fire? And Park Seohyun uses another rune, creating a cloud that starts raining over the flames. Very good, everyone. Next rune. And Kim Keeman is impressed so far, making background comments. This is magic, but I'm not feeling any mana. How did you do that? Not even an archmage could sense your mana. Good job, my students. Then Wu Hwee shows the paper and says, this is the power of the mana hiding rune. It's the first time I've seen this type of rune. These overlapping lines give the rune a different function, and to think it wasn't destroyed after use. Wu Hwee said he learned it from a mage he knows. Please, Hong, accept this new student here. I can learn this rune too, right? Oh, well, I don't need a salary or anything. I just want to join this rune class. Seriously? Can I really do it that way? Wu Hwee is going to draw some runes for me. Right, works for me, so go ahead. Wu Hwee, the protagonist, observing the entire conversation, is shocked by the outcome. I'll be in your care now, my teacher. Oh, great, thanks Wu Hwee. At least give me her salary. A few days later, on May 15th, 2024. Hey, who are these people? By their movements, they look like hunters. Are they trustworthy? They seem a bit suspicious. To be honest, no, relax. When it comes to this kind of thing, these guys are very thorough. Our goal today is to confirm if there are really children inside and to block the criminal's escape route. And if we get more information, even better. Capturing an important criminal will also be great for us. After we do all this, we can draw attention and start the chaos. You're not saying we should do all this out of nowhere, right? It was just a spur of the moment idea. The guy in front, one of the hired hunters, speaks to them. Sorry if I'm interrupting, but my ability didn't detect anything. There are different life forms inside, even insects, but it seems there are no security cameras. The basement was also empty. Yes, from what I saw, there's nothing. No. Wait, that's not possible. Let's go in now. Professor Wu Hwee, calm down. Wait, but the protagonist is already cutting the chains on the door and entering. Do you have a mana control device? What are you doing? There's something very strange. They shouldn't have moved so quickly, especially with children. The children? Yes, the kind of experiments they're conducting require a very specific environment. They create a completely sterile environment with no external influences. The protagonist types the password to enter, remembering it perfectly. When he finishes, the authorization is confirmed. And what was that code you just entered? You could have told us about it beforehand, right? I need to keep some tricks up my sleeve, you know? 5th floor? That's pretty high, isn't it? Actually, it's the opposite. We're going to the lowest floor, the 5th basement level. We see the elevator later descending into a very dark area. Huh, it looks like there's nothing here. But how did they know I was coming? And when he notices Kim Keeman about to use magic, he quickly warns, don't use magic. That will trigger their emergency protocol. What do you mean? Protocol. Since they left their main lab, they've set traps for intruders in all their facilities. They call it Project Pompeii. They've drawn runes in some places that respond to magic. If magic is detected, this whole place will explode. Can you make runes like that? I'll tell you later. Then the protagonist turns on his flashlight and starts walking through the dark corridors, thinking, Mingise, there's no dust in the hallways. They left recently and clearly intend to come back. This place operated for 2 years before Hong attacked it. What made Ark leave in the middle of the night? This door is locked. This is the main lab. I'm going in. The most important research materials should be here. I didn't expect this, but it looks like they cleaned the place out pretty well. Kim Keeman is a bit traumatized. There are children's toys here. I'm just asking, but is there any rune that activates and destroys the place? I don't think so. Great, then. He punches the wall, then punches the glass wall again. The protagonist thinks, from inside or outside, this place is as impressive as ever. We see a scene from the past at the Ark Research Center. Oh, are you writing? It's my diary. My dad is a lawyer, and he said evidence is very important, so write down that he hits us. But he doesn't, except he sometimes kicks the other workers. I think if I write it this way, it's not a lie, right? I'll be your witness. All right, then. It seemed like a waste of time, didn't it? This woman is the master of the Daesan Guild, who is also the youngest daughter of the Daean Group's owner and Seunjoon's aunt. The woman Seunjoon mentioned wanting to meet the protagonist. Speaking of him, he thinks, Lee Mission. She looks the same as in the future. Actually, it wasn't a waste of time. This is Ark's main lab. I wouldn't call it a waste if there were still some research files here, and what you promised didn't happen. This isn't good at all. Guild leader, I removed all the explosives from the site, but it's still a good job. But Hong, you seem to be talking to me in the most indirect way possible. Are you hiding something from me? What are you hiding? We see that Hong is really trying to keep up appearances, giving a small smile, but he glances at the protagonist, and Lee Mission gets stressed. Guards, we need to talk alone here. Let's do something. Let's check if there's anything useful left in this dump. At least, yes, ma'am. Already done with the organization. Kim Keeman is holding some papers and says, yes, I finished. But you didn't tell me the evidence was gone. It's gone. But from the workers there, what do you have then? This was left by one of the kidnapped children. To be a bit more precise, Wu Hui's brother, who is right here beside me. Brother? She starts concentrating on the document, and it's the same diary we saw earlier. April 5th. It seems the Myeongdong dungeon has a flaw. Why did they have to do this to us? I don't even know where Myeongdong is. I hope they fix the TV they broke. What the hell is this? What do you mean the Myeongdong dungeon has a flaw? On the next page, it says, moving laboratories. I don't know much, but I saw the boss saying a dungeon appeared in the SGPA district. Think someone should run over there? 2 days later, we see him back at school, observing a student who is sitting on the floor. Are you watching the ants? No, not really. He thinks that this is Su Sonjin, a name that's hard to forget. So, if I don't remember her from my other life, she probably died. So you're going to leave him alone there. Seunjoon is fighting by himself. That's the plan. We can't win against Hyunwook, even if the two of us team up against him. And the protagonist thinks, well, that's true. Hyunwook shows a lot of potential. As for the rest of them, they're just okay. Professor, can I stop watching them? Oh, yes, of course. What idea do you have in mind? This idea was actually Seunjoon's. Okay, go ahead. It's really nice to see Soon Sonjin start to observe every step Hyunwook takes, and then appear behind him to draw her sword. While Hyunwook is distracted dodging her attack, Seunjoon hits him in the chest. Ah, damn it, Su Sonjin. That's embarrassing. Huh, that's cheating. Ah, but isn't it? Don't you remember what the professor said? You never know what might happen in a dungeon. This is unbelievable. Team up with someone if you're that angry. Suddenly, a car appears. It looks like a security guard is getting out, and the protagonist thinks, who is it? Seunjoon already speaks up. Aunt. Hey, how are you? Kid? Aunt, I told you not to call me that in public. Seunjoon, it looks like you're improving. Huh, really? Yes, I've been practicing a lot. Yeah, it seems like it was a good idea to leave you with Hong. I hope our youngest will be here in the future too. Aunt. But she completely ignores her own nephew and goes to talk to Hyunwook. Look at you. You're taller than the last time I saw you. Want to join your guild? I'll treat you like a true older sister. Older sister? Really? You're an old lady. That's why you don't have a boyfriend. You remember, right? From elementary school. What was that girl's name again? Hey. Okay. If you had listened to me, you wouldn't have been rejected. Aunt, you know your parents fell madly in love with each other, right? Everyone in the family found love easily. I don't know what's wrong with you. It must be because I resemble you, right? I'm single by choice, okay? You're single because of rejection. That's what everyone says. They start a frantic argument, and the protagonist watches it all, thinking, yeah, I heard she really likes her nephew. I just think they should be a bit kinder to each other. But this is pretty normal. Actually, I think even with the arguments, it means they are close, right? Oh, you're here. Xunyon's aunt brought food for everyone. Let's eat. Kim Kiman, Wu Hui, come here quickly. Then they all go together with the aunt for a more private conversation, and she starts talking. I bought the Song Dungeon over in Bangdong, although I think the government only took over during the Myeongdong incident. Thanks to that, no other guilds made any offers, so I paid very little. And the Bangdong dungeons also have a very low average rank. Do we have any official evaluation yet? Well, because of the incident in Myeongdong, it seems that evaluations were put on hold for a while. I don't think anyone has gone there yet, so let's try to get to the Bangdong dungeon as soon as possible. The real problem is the Myeongdong dungeon. Wu Hui, do you have any idea what your brother meant by flaw? No, I have no idea. And the protagonist thinks, that's because I never wrote that in the past. I'll clue you in here. Folks, it was pretty obvious he did that afterward, right? He really wants people to go there so that what happened before doesn't happen again. The next day, in class, our protagonist prepares for the lesson, grabbing his pen. Since you're now familiar with the mana hiding rune and the support runes, today I'm going to teach you a new rune. Kim Kiman is the first to raise her hand. Professor Wu Hui, do you have a question? Miss Kim Kiman. Meanwhile, Myung is in the back thinking, he's kinda cute, but I can't trust him. How many runes do you know in total? Why the curiosity now? Isn't it perfectly normal for students to be curious about their teacher's abilities? Don't say something so scary again. And I'm not even a mage. I didn't sign any mage contract, so please, don't call me master. A guy from the lab saved these students, and they're calling him kind-hearted. No matter how I look at it, it's very suspicious. Everyone notices Myung making some strange noises. Sorry, it's just a habit. I didn't mean to interrupt your class. Okay, let's continue. Today, I'm going to teach you the shadow rune. Well, at least that's what I like to call it. See how easy it is? You seem so full of yourself now. But what effect does it have? Well, you'll only know if you draw it. Why don't you just tell us already? But then it wouldn't be fun. Come on, just draw it. Choi and Seunjun are already like, let's go. While everyone is trying to draw this rune, Wu Hui, like a good teacher, goes around checking each desk. See how it's easier than the mana hiding rune? Really? It's a pretty simple rune, isn't it? So, you should know how to do it in one go. There are many other runes for you to learn. Choi, and do you have time to take so long on each of them? No, sir. Then draw the support rune on top of this one, because it's the final step for all runes. And as for you, Park Seoyeon, let's see. Good job drawing it. Do you want to test it? Activate the rune. Okay, sir. When Lee Seon sees the effect of the rune, she is very confused. No, wait, what's happening to my vision? My vision is getting weird. We see that Park Seoyeon is becoming translucent, blurry, and dark all at the same time. This rune syncs with the user's shadows. It doesn't seem like much in the light, but in the dark, its effects can be quite serious. Park Seoyeon is impressed. So, where do you think you could use this rune? I'm sorry, I don't know. Calm down, calm down. It's okay not to know, alright? I don't want to put any pressure on you. We can learn slowly. It's fine. That's what I'm here for, okay? He's getting desperate because she's starting to look very sad again. I'm sorry. Really? It's okay. Excuse me, but I have a question. Could you tell us more about that mana hiding rune you mentioned earlier? Well, as the name suggests, it's a rune that hides the user's mana. Didn't Seunjun tell you? I used it to save him and the other students in Myeongdong. Really? Actually, I didn't hear anything about runes from him. It seems our youngest and Hong keep changing the subject whenever we talk about it. And of course, I was hesitant to ask because I thought Seunjun might have developed some kind of trauma. She starts realizing what happened and Hong glares at her. Did you silence my nephew? You're going to tell me what happened now. The next scene is after class, where Hong and the protagonist are having a private conversation. Miss Kim's family has had archmages with the same attribute for 3 consecutive generations. This is a very rare case, even internationally. She lacks a bit of experience as an archmage, but her family's reputation alone is enough. Do you know what all this means? No, I have no idea. It means that an archmage from a very renowned family paid a lot of attention to your rune. I think it means some mages and people from art will come after you. Well, just publish the runes under her name. I don't care. You shouldn't live like this. What is he talking about? This achievement is yours. And that other mage who taught. Seriously, what is this old man talking about? Do you think I should silence the students? But haven't you already done that? I did nothing. Why do you think they never talked about it with their families? Because they also know very well that this rune will go down in history. But you don't need to worry about anything. Rest assured, your name will be in the history books. The protagonist feels guilty because he didn't create the runes. He stole them from someone who hasn't even created them yet. Monasteries are really wild. How many achievements am I stealing right now? The French archmage, Park Seoyeon's shadow rune, and other mages who created very useful runes. But I'm also taking back back the huge amount of money those frauds took. The protagonist is reflecting a lot. That French archmage and Park Seo-yeon didn't want any money. They just wanted to save as many people as possible. And the rest? How much did the ability agency pay them? With that money, we could start a new agency with new equipment and a new academy. And most importantly, I won't have to rely on Lee Mission-'s donations. He continues pondering whether to patent the runes or not. All right, understood. I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but it sounds good, right? Okay, let's go have lunch. But when they go out into the courtyard, it's filled with people carrying a bunch of things that look like home decorations. What's all this? Are you done with your lunch? This territory here is sacred. The sacred territory of the school. You could even get reported if you call this dump a school. But I told you we were going to build a new building next year. Being in this place is going to be really bad for Soon Soonjin's skin. Aunt. And tell me, who are you again? Oh, you're Soon Soonjin's little friend, right? Aunt. Oh, that's the last box. Yes, ma'am. All right, organize everything properly. And the protagonist thinks, where did she get all this stuff? She approaches the protagonist. I just installed a subspace. Oh, okay. The subspace isn't fully commercialized yet. So since our company is making it, I decided to use it first. Let me know if you need one, okay? All right, I'm good. And the protagonist thinks, actually, I already have one, and it even has a password. In fact, I think it was made by her company in the future. We see that his subspace is his wallet, which is practically infinite and can hold anything. I don't think we've properly introduced ourselves. Nice to meet you. My name is Lee Mission, Master of the Daein Guild and assistant to Hunter Hong and many things. And for now, I plan to help you too. Mr. Wu H. Wee. And the protagonist thinks, finally, the guild magnate talked to me. I'm excited to work with you too. Let's go. Family, retirement is guaranteed. In the next scene, the protagonist is drawing some runes just for practice. Professor, you use a sword, right? What's your main weapon? The sword. No, actually. Then he thinks carefully before speaking. They might notice that my techniques are very similar to the director's, so I'd better not use my spear. Okay, but why are you asking? Can you teach us? You have the best hunter in Korea at your disposal, and you're asking me. It's because the director uses a spear, and he told us he won't be staying at the school much longer, and will only come back occasionally. What did that old man say? Oh, I was going to tell you. Now that there are more teachers, I don't need to stay at the school so much. Are you serious? If you were going to leave like this, at least hire someone else. And we also need to hire trustworthy people, so no one reveals the runes before the official announcement. Okay, but the Daein people are trustworthy. Lee Mission doesn't want to give up her hunters, and besides, her people do a lot of missions. It's better that you stay here and take care of things. What makes you think I'm qualified? I can see it in your eyes, you know? Because the eyes are the window to the soul. And the protagonist thinks, how did this guy become the most powerful person in the nation anyway? I'm not going to let people around here use mana, so you'll adjust their runes and combat stances, that sort of thing. Or you can train against them in fights. I'm sure they'll learn a lot while getting beaten up. All the kids will soon be aiming for your head. My head? Yeah, I told them there would be a reward for whoever could hit your head. The atmosphere becomes very tense as they stare at each other. And what about Run? I left that with Miss Kim, since she handles more of the mages and healers and stuff like that. Well, I'm heading out. Where to? I'm going to check out that dungeon Miss Lee Mission bought. Take me with you then. We don't know what Ark did there, so it's dangerous. I'm going first just to make sure there's nothing suspicious. Don't worry, I'll be back soon. Take care of the kids for me, okay? At least be quick. The next morning at the school, the place is much more decorated thanks to Lee Mission, and there's even a food truck. Since when did she set up a coffee truck here? Just a reminder, the one who survives is the strongest. Professor, you don't sound cool saying something like that. Has anyone here ever been to a dungeon? Everyone stops laughing and gets serious. I have, Hansong says. Yes, and how was it? It's different. It's just different. There are theories that it's another dimension, and he tries to convey what his aunt and Jinwoo told him. There are no humans in dungeons, so to survive, you have to stop being human. Don't place too much importance on being human in dungeons. You have to act on instinct. The director made you stop fighting each other, right? Yes, sir. So I'll be teaching you from now on. But know that I'm not as nice as he is. I'll awaken your instincts forcefully. And don't worry, I won't kill you, so give it your best. At this moment, we see Hong's group approaching the dungeon. As they get closer to the portal, they start recording everything they're doing. May 24, 2024. Dungeon 2024-04-6-103. A total of 5 people on this rank a mission. We have Lee Mission, rank B, Jai Yugun, and Kang Soyun, rank C, Choi Dihyun, and a very well-known hunter named Hong Seokaiwang, rank S. It's currently 1 in the afternoon. Entering the portal, they enter this other dimension, the dungeon, and it seems like the sky there is night, but at the same time, it has sunlight. It's like a clear sky with stars. I think this is a rank D dungeon. Real hunters don't relax insects even in a rank D dungeon. Any information about the monsters in the area? Yes, sir. They are insect type, live in the forest, and there aren't many of them. Sir, what do they eat? It seems they are herbivores. Herbivores? That's very rare. We saw them eating leaf. Sir, they don't seem to have any interest in meat or blood. I think they're curious about what humans are as well. It seems their body fluid isn't acidic and won't harm us. Also, there doesn't seem to be any monster guarding the center of the forest. You've been quite thorough with this, haven't you? And Hong thinks, a rank D dungeon with calm and peaceful monsters. This is the dungeon Ark paid attention to. He kills one of the centipedes with his spear. What's wrong? You don't like insects, do you? I hate anything with more legs than me. Then Hong picks up the spear and waves the bug in her face. Boo, get it away from me. Get it away before I grab my weapon. They continue walking through this forest full of scattered centipedes until Hong signals everyone to stop. Hold on, everyone. There's something nearby. And Lee Messian feels the tension. There's a reason they don't like fresh meat. They prefer rotting flesh. We see several centipedes feasting on a corpse. That's all for today. Folks, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like the video. It's really important. Subscribe to the channel, and the comment you need to leave is the answer to this question. What is our protagonist's main weapon if it's not a sword? See you next time. Bye.